Welcome back, Pack. This is Adbeel from WolfSteel Buildings, and we got a special guest as well, Eric. He's right now recording this shot that you're seeing of this amazing project. So we got here a 30 by 40 metal building, but not just that. We got a lean-to with a balcony, a mezzanine, high tracks, overhead doors, a lot of cool features to this project, a lot of details that went into it. Wainscoting stone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's get this video started. Alrighty, Pack. So let me introduce. We got Jared back on the channel. We were actually doing the quality control process right now, and I'm like, you know what? Jared has a lot of insight since he managed this project, made this happen. He controls this side of our operations. And Jared, welcome back to the channel.
Thank you.
So I'm super excited because I know he's going to provide a lot of value. So let's get this started. This is a 1,200 square foot project of the main structure. So it's a 30 wide, 40 foot long. How tall is it to the eaves, Jared?
So we got 18 foot on the eaves of the main building. From there, at the edge of that lean-to there, it's 17 foot.
17
It drops
foot.
a foot. Yeah, so it goes 18 and then down to 17 on the outside there. So
standard 312 pitch. We got 2 windows. We're gonna be talking a lot about that balcony side, and especially the clearances, because if you can see here, we got two levels. Okay, so a lot of you might ask, okay, what height do I need to make sure I have enough clearance? So that is one thing that when we walk inside, you're about to see. This color combination is pretty unique. It's not very common, but it's a classic. Brown with light stone, I believe. Is that correct?
yeah, it's light stone walls, and then pretty much everything else is brown.
Everything else.
Trimming, we even painted the frames out on the outside brown. Usually it can either be like a primer, like a red primer, but in order for us to kind of have it all matching, we went ahead and just kind of painted it all brown on the exterior. And then it's a brown roof up top also. And then the brown overhead doors right here in the front.
So this model is the short carriage door, and it is insulated. You can even feel a little bit more. This is the higher insulated value. So this one's the R10 insulated. It's got its nice weather stripping. And then the windows, Jared.
I don't know what panel or what type of window this is. Marketing right here. But yeah, I mean, for this one, the customer wanted the windows up top. I know we've done some where we kind of put it more below at eye level. Me personally, always go with the top. It just looks a lot cleaner, in my opinion.
What's the dimension on this door, guys?
Yeah, so this is a 16 by 8 foot tall. We got another overhead door on the other side, which is a 9 by 7, if I'm not mistaken. And you're gonna see that that's actually hanging off of the mezzanine, so stay tuned on that. Jared, this came out of nowhere.
At first, I had it only planned to do just the regular wainscot trim. And then our customer was like, hey, I got a building right there that has, a little bit of stone. And my house has stone. What can we do? And, we already had all this trimming up. And it was just kind of last minute. So I'm like, oh, it's not much, but we can do something, right? So we added in an extra trim extension here. It's not fully done yet, but I'm gonna add in like a bead of brown silicone here. So any water, let's say that gets on the panel at the front here, doesn't get behind. So just gonna seal this nice up, but I did have to add in this extra piece of trim here, just to kind of extend this outward to cover the top of the stone here.
And Jared, we do have some seeping holes at the bottom, right?
Yeah, so it's right here. So if any water does get behind, it's all coming out.
It's all coming out. Now, one of the reasons why he also had to do this is because of his HOA requirements, okay? So we are in a nice development, or we could say community, and there's restrictions. You must have some sort of a wainscoting on your metal building that matches your home in some way or another. And that's why, you know, we did this process. All right, let's go under this balcony. Jared, talk to me. What's the height of this balcony clearance?
It's 9 feet, but it's really like 8'4".
Okay.
Because I did a 8-inch C-purlins right here off the balcony. And then if you look on the side to side of it, it's 8-inch I-beams. So I ran the 8-inch I-beams right here to kind of, well, receive this side of the purlins, right? Because we put these, I believe it's every 1'8". And then over here, I also ran an I-beam. So this I-beam, really, it's only connected to the main frame of the beams by a 3/8 thick weld plate that's there to receive these, you know, these beams. And then it's a little weird, but this beam receives that beam, if that makes sense. And that allows me to run a beam kind of right up against the panel, running the whole length of the building. And it even wraps around, not the same beam, right? But you know, the connections, it even wraps around that gable extension. And what that allows me to do is not penetrate the sheet metal as much. So the less penetrations, and what I mean by penetration is cuts into the sheet metal, the less penetrations there are, the less chances of leaking over time. So if you kind of look up underneath this building, there's really only like 3 cuts into the sheet metal here for this balcony, and it just highly reduces the risk of leaking over time. Yes,
Which
sir.
I really love this idea when we planned this out, and you mentioned, you know, this is probably a better idea of how we're gonna do this process, and it turned out amazing. Because at the end of the day in construction, the number one thing is you don't want water to come in. You don't want penetration of water.
The biggest enemy to any construction is water at the end of the day.
You know, it defeats the whole purpose of keeping the elements outside. And even that is also water, but also air, also, you know, critters and whatnot entering your building because of those penetrations. All right, let's keep walking here, guys. Alrighty, and then we also have a steel door that our client had right here to be able to access. And if you notice, it's a clear access point from his home to be able to access his main building. And this is the insulated door with the solid
It's a
steel
16
skin.
gauge steel plate around the exterior with the polyurethane center. For those who want to know.
Thank you, technical. And then again, this is the balcony side. So I was just speaking with their clients. It's just a nice way to just kind of like relax and enjoy a little bit more of their backyard. He said because they got their pool, they'll be able to oversee, especially up top. You get the breeze, you'll get to see that. One thing I want to talk about here, Jared, is how well we did our ceiling for our windows. So our trim work here, you can see here, we got a kick out.
So as you can see right here, the reason, I mean, it looks like a 45 cut from the outside, but there's kind of like a little kick out. Now this isn't necessarily needed because it's underneath the balcony, but any water, let's say that were to get on top of that panel, instead of running alongside the window, right, to where it goes at the bottom corner, which is the
highest point of leaking.
95% of leaking occurs.
Right there.
Right at that bottom corner. It kind of kicks it out a little bit and has it run alongside it. So that's one thing. From there, you can barely kind of see it, but there's a nice bead of brown silicone here. You know, the reason we do this is one time I was at a customer's location. I was like, man, where's it leaking from? We had a hose out there, and it was actually leaking from between this J trim and the window. So leaking can occur there also. So that's why we go ahead and, you know, throw a nice little bead of silicone and finish it off there.
By the way, if you see this marking, that's the electrician that came in earlier this week to mark where they're going to do some penetrations to run their conduits. So here we do have another 9x7 door, and this one is hanging off of the mezzanine that you're about to see in the inside. Come on in. Let's check this out. Well, guys, we have this 9x7 door. I mean, you can see here, we did do the concrete, by the way. We haven't talked a lot about the concrete. We're just really excited about the metal building. But you can see we did the macizo all around these doors. Again, for water prevention of seeping. We did a pretty good job here. And here we got the normal tracks, and it's hanging off of the mezzanine right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're not normal. They're low radius tracks. So
Okay.
usually you would need a little bit higher, you know, a little bit of a higher clearance, but this is very, very minimal, right? As compared to like I think it's like 2 foot on your standard tracks.
Okay.
But it also depends on how wide and how tall of a door, you know, the makeup is. Yep.
So this one has the low profile.
Low, yes, sir.
And more because of the little clearance we have then. Okay.
Exactly, yeah, because here on the mezzanine, it's 10-inch. It's 10-inch seat purlins right here.
Okay. This is running 14 feet with 10 inches, you said, so basically we got about, here's 40. We got about 25 feet open.
A little bit of under 450 square feet extra above. Yeah, on the mezzanine. So below the mezzanine, 450 square feet, which is tied into the 30 by 40, right? Yeah. But then he added an additional 450 square feet of, you know, second story.
Which I was just speaking with our client. He's like, hey, you know, like I needed a workshop, and my wife needed more storage space. So he's like, but you know, it was gonna take away from my workshop space, so why not we just build up there? And it's like, okay, well that's what happened. And so that's the story of why there is additional space up top. Because I do remember there was a lot of, you know, planning going on during the sales process of like, well, what if we did this? What if we did that? Which, by the way, during the sales process, it's important that you ask all the questions you have, and it's important that we answer those questions, because at the end of the day, you probably will only build 1 or 2 in your lifetime of these type of projects. So you want to get it right. You know, you want to get it right, because once it's built, that's what it is. Keep that in mind.
Exactly. Well, another thing that I really loved, I recommended it to the customer, not me, Argenis. Shout out Argenis. But Argenis recommended to the customer is to do this vertical track system. So pretty much, since it's a 16 by 8 door, so it's 8 foot tall, and the eaves are 18 feet tall, he really has around 10 extra feet above the door. So if this door were to have the same, you know, radius track system that we saw on that smaller door back there, imagine when this door is fully open, it will just kind of be here, you know, taking up all his space and looking a little messy. Let's say if he were to have, you know, a light right above here and his overhead door kind of open, it would block off a lot of light. So that's also something to think about. But with this, the beauty of the vertical tracks, right, is that it goes straight up, right? It goes straight up, takes almost it really doesn't take any space away. And, you know, it just kind of keeps it very open, you know, very open. It makes it look very, you know, makes it look like there was a thought process that went into it, you know?
Yeah, I love the high tracks on it, especially this one. I don't even think it would have passed our process to install a door that high off of the ceiling, more for integrity reasons and also for, you know, maintaining the length of its lifespan, you know, because it's just going to be moving around after a couple times. Come up the stairs. All right, Jared, talk to me about these amazing stairs we have here. I see some wood and some steel combination.
Yeah, so here we did wooden stair treads. So there's really 2 options. You can do a concrete or you can do a wooden stair tread. As you can see, we went with the wooden. Now it's a little bit more expensive, but if you, the amount of detail, look that it gives it, it's completely worth it. From there, I think it's a gun stock or so, I can't remember exactly. I'll put it up on the screen here, but the staining of the wood, right? So we let the customer pick his own staining, and this is kind of the one that he decided with. From there, we did 3-foot railings right here on the stairs, but over here, for the mezzanine, it's 42 inches. 42 inches. So that's kind of the code on that. You don't want to be less than 42 inches.
And here, guys, so you can see this is 18 foot to the eaves, and we still have a pretty good clearance here. So up here, do you know what the finished floor elevation here is? That was 9, this is about...
You have here around 9 foot on the eaves, but then it goes up a little bit, roughly 3 foot 9 inches in the center.
Okay.
So you're looking at like It's 9 there, 12, 9 right here, and obviously coming down. You do lose a little bit because of the purlins up top, but you know, very minimal, 6 inches.
And we're not very tall people. I mean, I'm 5'8", 5'9", and he's about the same height.
Yeah.
Talk about the windows, guys. How many windows we got here?
Yeah, so we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got 6 windows, right, Jared?
You got 7.
7. Oh
2,
yeah.
4, 6, 7.
And then the bottom.
8.
8. So we did. If we went to school, or how did that go?
I don't want to talk about it.
So we do have a lot of windows up on the top, which gives it a lot of lighting inside the building. Something to really consider if you want lighting. The windows on top is something that I like. Really like this little detail we did here around our work post. But come outside, guys. Which, by the way, we are coming back and we're gonna be spray foaming this building. You can see here one of our foam gap enclosures that fell off, but we're gonna be fixing that. Right now our client's gonna be running electricity. Then we're gonna be back and prep the building and get that spray foam. Alrighty, Pack. So check out the balcony here. This is amazing. I can feel the breeze because it's hot outside. You can see us right now. So we do feel the breeze up here. And that's the beauty of this balcony. That's what our client was saying, man, like when I'm out here, like I can feel the breeze up top here. Exactly. Let's talk about what we did here. So the width for this is 8 foot wide. And then as Jared's mentioning right here, we should have about 9 foot clearance. And
well, here you have a little bit less, so it's 8 foot, but then you lose a little bit because of the purlins coming down. Right here, same situation. You have 9 foot, but you lose 6 inches
right. 9 over here.
Yeah, and it is 8 foot wide. This shot right here is 48 feet, just because the gable extension also sticks out 8 feet past the, you know, the interior building of it. So that's kind of where the 48 feet comes from here. Yeah, I mean, it's we did a composite decking. For the most part, it's a hidden screw system. There are some screws that had to go on top, but for the most part, it's a hidden screw system there. And same thing, 42-inch tall railings all around. Well, you know, we need to do it all around.
And we didn't get a shot, but I do have pictures. The bottom of this composite decking is also brown, so it just looks super clean all the way around. I mean, this is the brown color, which really matched very well with our painted frame. So you can see this is a painted brown, not just a prime, but it's painted on top of the prime. And it, you know, I think it's a great combo.
You can't really even see the gutters on the downspouts.
Yeah, so we do have, you can see here, this is the painted brown, and then this is the Koko Brown downspout for the gutter system. So overall, I mean, it's all well put together. One question, Jared, how long did this process take? Because I know you only handled the building side of everything, but the concrete side, I'm not sure how long the process was for our client.
I can't speak on the concrete, how long from start to finish he was in that department. Maybe we can pop it up on the screen right here. As far as once he got to the building side, it took a little bit of planning. Overall, this was like a month, 5-week process.
5-week process.
Kind of studying our department for like 2 weeks. Material, you know, getting everything delivered and making sure it's ready. As far as actual like build time, it was around 3 weeks. Usually a building like this can take up to like a week and a half. But with so much detail that goes into it, kind of doubles it. I mean, we're talking the mezzanine, the stairs, stair treads,
balcony,
exterior balcony, painting, you know, composite decking. It's just little things that, I mean, yeah, we could have gotten it out in 2 weeks, but then we would have been back fixing it another 4 weeks. So these little things take time, and you know, we'd rather do it right the first time.
And man, it turned out amazing, guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying. You can see here, you know, this is just beautiful.
All right, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to our Argenis and the Alpha Wolves on this sale. I know every day he would ask me like, hey, how's the project coming along? We got some pictures. I know he was super excited about this build ever since he sold it. He's like, man, when are we starting it? When are we starting it? And you know, I'm just like, hey, we don't even have the concrete up yet. So
Also, a big shout out to our planning department, which is composed of Manuel, Peachy, and Roy, Zanny, and the procurement team as well. There's a lot of planning, especially on something like this that involves a lot of details. You know, kudos to them for the planning that involved into making this happen, from everything from procurement and architectural design.
Yeah, I think that's very important. You know, it's kind of goes on in the background, and it's not, you know, kind of shined upon as much. Planning, you know, all that sounds boring, right? But it's a very important step that it makes it a lot easier, you know, for us in the building department to just come and, you know, execute. We got a clear plan, and everything's ready to go.
And guys, don't forget, like, share,
and subscribe.
Leave us a comment. You have any questions? What if you like this project? Do you like the colors? Tell us. Leave us in the comments. And we'll see you guys
next time.
video.